I received a CGC order back, and I should not have submitted these books. They are not worth the grading fees. This was a giant mistake.
Yo, Joe, talking comics. Here's your host. It's A Real American Brian.
So, my latest CGC box came back. I have 5 books that most people would tell you aren't worth submitting to CGC, and that you're a fool if you do. They may even use more colorful language in describing your stupidity. But I'm of a different mindset. I believe you should submit and collect things that make you happy. This hobby is most rewarding when you are doing it for yourself. The 5 books in this box may not be much for most people, but I'm going to be really enjoying having them displayed and looking at them and having them in my collection. The cost of these books isn't incredibly high, but the resale value of them is probably less. I sent all these books out to be pressed, so that cost, along with the CGC cost, makes this a poor investment if you're looking at it from a purely financial standpoint. But that's enough of that. Let's take a look at what I got here. The first one is a big one. This is Hulk #1, the facsimile edition. In this facsimile book, I can now enjoy the great cover art. I have a collection of Jack Kirby covers now, and this one, along with some of the others in this, will go together so I can display them all and enjoy and appreciate that art. For a facsimile edition, I'm paying to have it pressed. I'm very happy that it came back as a 9.8. That makes me feel a little better anyway. I did look up some recent sales on the book, even though I'm not really one of those channels, and it looks like with the amount I have in the book, I'm probably at the break-even point right now for what it sells for. So, it is what it is. I'm okay with it. The next book... Okay. The next book is Satan 6 #1. So this will be another one for my Jack Kirby cover collection. And this one has a cool story behind it. This was Jack Kirby, along with a lot of the Image guys, Frank Miller even, I believe. So a lot of the big names from that era were, Kirby was doing the pencils for most of it, I believe, and then they were doing the inks and the colors and finishes on all of it. But there are a lot of cool stories about this book. The mention of the payout that Kirby got was much larger than most of his career, so that's pretty cool. And Todd McFarlane did the inking of the cover, and he has a story that he tells where, he, after doing the inking, had to erase Jack Kirby's pencils, and like it really got to him and was like this big powerful moment where he couldn't believe he was erasing Jack Kirby's pencils. So he kept all the eraser shavings in a bag at his desk for quite a while. So that's pretty cool, just having the stories behind it, it being, a Copper Age, I guess, maybe even modern. I'm not sure when the book came out here. What is that? 93. So yeah, it's one of the later Jack Kirby pieces, but having that and then getting a 9.8, super cool. It's not an expensive book, but it's still fun to have. There are actually only 18 of these on the census, not because it's rare, but because no one is submitting it. That said, this is one of only 5 9.8s, so that's pretty cool. The next book is... Okay, this one's going to be a little bit different. This is The Munsters #1. I'm a big Munsters fan, not a fan of the Rob Zombie Munsters, but the classic Munsters are my jam. This is another great looking wall book for me with a photo cover. I got this book pretty cheap and it wasn't in great shape, but when I got it back from Top Comics Pressing, it looked great. Not sure what he did there, but he really transformed this book. It coming back at a 9.0 is awesome. I was expecting much lower. This book did have graders notes on it, and one of the things they pointed out was a slight staple rust, which is strange. I was pretty surprised to find that on a book from 1997. Thankfully, I'm not looking to resell the book. It is definitely worth more to me than anyone else. But yeah, so now I have the Munsters put on my wall. It's pretty dope. The next book is another one. I'm a super big fan of this franchise. Adventures on the Planet of the Apes #1. If you have watched some of my other videos, you will know that I'm a big Planet of the Apes fan. I bought a copy of this book intending to get it slabbed, so that way I can display it and enjoy it. But upon receiving it, the book was in too low of grade even for me. I found a second copy that was a bit better, and that is what we have here. After getting the Top Comics Pressing treatment, it was able to come back as a 7.0, a little lower than I was expecting, but not much. I was thinking a 7.5, hoping for an 8. The whole series is going to be collected in the upcoming Apes Omnibus from Marvel, so I'm really looking forward to getting that. I have it pre-ordered already, so as soon as it's ready to ship, it will be mine, and I'll get a read through all these awesome stories. But yeah, so Adventures on the Planet of the Apes, which is the first Marvel Comics Apes book. So that's pretty awesome. And the final book for this submission, oh, it's another big one. This is a big current key that everyone's talking about, right? Avengers number 8, the first appearance of Kang, facsimile edition. Yeah, another facsimile edition. Just like the Hulk, getting a great book like this is just out of my budget. But having this, I can still pretend to be rich. That is all from this submission. I do have a few more that are on their way to me very soon. I'm very happy with the grades on this one. I've seen a lot of harsh grading on modern books lately, but the books that I thought should be 9/8 were, and the ones that weren't definitely were not. I hope you're enjoying this video. If you did make it this far, please hook me up with a like and subscribe so you can see the next CGC boxes that I have on my way. The next one's just a couple days away, so yes, check me out. Thanks.
You've been watching a Real American Brian production in association with the letters G, I, and JOE.